Good afternoon, Miss Claire. I'm Nurin, a clerk that booked this appointment for you on that day. So I'm on behalf of this firm gladly welcome you to Amira Co and Associates.
Good afternoon and thank you, Ms. Nurin.
So firstly, we are very sorry that we have to conduct our first meeting through this online platform due to this pandemic. And we apologize for not being able to serve you with some coffee or tea with some snacks.
It's okay, Ms. Nurin. I understand, and I just hope that my internet connection will not be interrupted throughout this meeting.
Same goes with us. And for your information, Ms. Claire, Amira Co and Associates provide services for both civil and also criminal matters. And we have expertise lawyer in handling legal advice in family matters such as divorce, custody and guardianship, in land matters, drafting of will and also conveyancing. So regarding your consultation, it is related to custody of your child from the information that you gave before.
Yes, I did inform you about my concern.
Okay. So here are our lawyers, Mr. Koh Zeping and Mr. Ngao Huawei, that will advise you or consult regarding this custody issue.
Glad to see you, Miss Claire. I'm Mr. Ko, and over there is Mr. Ngao, advocates and solicitors from Amira Co and Associates.
Hello, Mr. Ko and Mr. Ngao.
So for your information, Ms. Claire, both Mr. Koh and Mr. Ngao have wide experience in handling family matters, especially in matters of divorce and custody. So it would be convenient if you can tell them the story without disguise so that they can advise you on the best solution.
Sure, I will give both of them as many information as I can, and I put my confidence in both of them to help me out.
Glad to hear that, Miss Clay. We are actually bound to solicitor and client fiduciary relationship, and we assure you that any information you have provided during this consultation is confidential. We will not disclose them to anyone.
So before I forget, Ms. Claire, I need to inform you regarding the document that you need to sign and the details of the fee. So I have faxed those documents to you. So you may refer to the document while I'm explaining to you.
Yes, I have read the documents that you have faxed me, and I'll be referring it now.
Okay, now I will proceed regarding the engagement letter. So for your information, the engagement letter is the document that you need to sign to confirm that you appoint Amira Co and Associates to act on behalf of you. And after you sign it, it means that you agree that the firm will actually act on behalf of you, and you will agree that the suggestions and action that you taken by the firm to handle your case. You have clear understanding on this matter, Ms.
Yes,
Claire?
I understand. Yes, I understand.
Okay, good. So besides that, the engagement letter also includes information regarding the fees in paragraph number 4. So you can refer that, Ms. Claire. And the professional fees are the fixed price that you need to pay for this consultation and also for the process of opening a file for total amount of 2,860 ringgit. But at the same time, you also need to know about the disbursement. So disbursement is the fee that are not fixed, which are listed in the bill, but is only estimated cost. So we can deal with disbursement fees later because it is actually based on the period that this firm will be presenting you. So the price actually will vary for each case. And if you have any question regarding the fees, yeah, you can ask me or the lawyers later. So with that, I will pass this consultation session to Mr. Koh Zeping and Mr. Ngao Huawei.
All right, Miss Claire, so we will start our discussion now. Can you explain to us what are the problems that brought you here?
It's like this. My ex-husband's name is Lewis. We were deeply in love for 5 years before we tied a knot on 12 February 2005 at St. Michael's Church, Ipoh, Perak. We moved to Selangor in 2010. We were blessed with four beautiful kids. Currently, our eldest son, Lego, is 19 years old. and he is studying in Australia. Our second son is Buddy. He is 16 years old and he attends a secondary school in Shah Alam, Selangor. Next is our daughter Flowery. She is 14 years old and she attends the same school as her brother. Our youngest daughter is Samari. She's a very lovely girl and she's still in her kindergarten. She's turning 5 this year. Everything was great until 2017. I started battling with my wrecked marriage in 2017 and I finally divorced my husband in 2020.
What leads to your divorce, Miss Claire? How would you describe your married life?
Well, my marriage life was a very beautiful one. Everything was fine until Louis had moved to Singapore, expanding his business there. Initially, we were confident that we could work this long distance relationship, but things turned to be otherwise. When I discovered that he had no intention of returning to Malaysia as he had settled in Singapore, besides, I was deeply devastated to know that he was in a living in relationship with another woman in Singapore, and that was the reason for his seldom visits. I was clearly very, very traumatized, but considering my children's life and their well being, I fixed myself for the obvious reasons that they are staying with me currently. I don't want them to be down because of what their father had did. And obviously, I couldn't live with him after what he had done. So later, I opted to divorce my husband, to which he too agreed, and we were finally divorced in 2020.
That's very upsetting.
It is indeed. Now, as a fresh divorcee, I am troubled that my ex husband might want to take my children along with him to live in Singapore. The thought itself is giving me panic attacks every day, and I want my kids to stay with me. They are my only comfort.
Well, we understand your feelings, Miss Claire. Miss Claire, could you please tell us about the relationship between your children and your ex-husband?
Lewis loved our kids when he was in Malaysia with me, but after he had moved to Singapore, it was understandable from his several visits that their relationship to be a rough one. He would not pay any attention to our kids' welfare. He did not share their joy, their sadness, and constantly being on his phone only.
Does his behavior affect your children? Do they complain about him to you?
Yes, they do. There was this one incident when Louis snapped at our youngest daughter because she accidentally deleted his messages once. He was so mad at her. Summary did not eat or sleep and she was constantly crying. Upon seeing her, Lego, my eldest son, started quarreling with his father and they had a big argument that day.
Well, I see, Miss Claire. But I have one question. Have your ex-husband done something abusive, such as mistreated your child before?
He once slapped Buddy a few times when Buddy failed to score straight A in his PT3 examinations. After this incident, Buddy was totally terrified of his father. Flowery too fears her father as she's going to write her PT3 exams soon.
Miss Claire, does this mean that your children were intimidated by their father?
Obviously, why wouldn't they?
Okay, so Miss Claire, can we safely conclude that the relationship between your children and Mr. Lewis is not a healthy one, and he had abused your children several times?
Yes, I could see that their relationship had ruined. Moreover, after Lego, Buddy, and Flowery knew that their father was having an affair, their hatred towards him grew larger. My children had told me that they now prefer to stay with me instead of their father.
If you don't mind, Miss Claire, could you please brief us of his affair? If you are uncomfortable about it, we can talk later.
It's okay. I'll be able to address this now. After he had migrated to Singapore in 2017, it came to light that he was having an affair with a woman named Susan. So it was my son Lego who found out that his father was having a mistress when he had accidentally looked at pictures of his father and Susan romancing. When confronted, Lewis agreed to having an affair with Susan. Lego was shattered, and it was from that point he never talked to his father, not as buddy. This is the reason why I am so frightened to even think that my children would have to live with their father, especially after what he had put them in.
I see, Miss Claire. Sorry for asking this question. Were you interested in someone else like Mr. Lewis during the period when your ex-husband stayed in Singapore?
I stayed loyal to him throughout my entire marriage life. Even throughout the divorce processes, I made sure I did not catch feelings on anyone before our divorce was finalized. Even now, I am a single lady.
Miss Claire, how about your earning capacity and financial stability? Could you raise your children by yourself without relying on the income of your ex-husband?
I am financially independent and able to raise my kids all by myself. I'm running my father's family business as a doctor, and it will be going smooth and steady. I do not need my ex-husband's money. I can maintain my kids without anything lacking. I just need him to stay away from my kids.
Okay, Miss Claire, we understand your situation. So, Miss Claire, we are going to reconfirm the problems and facts with you again. So, in 2005, you and your husband were lawfully married in Ipoh and have 4 children from the marriage. Now, because your husband had an affair with another woman, both of you decided to divorce by mutual consent on July 2020. And the decree nisi have been subsequently issued to you. And you have 4 children out of it. The eldest is Lego, 19 years old, and the second son is Buddy, 16 years old, and the third child is daughter Fowry, 14 years old, and the last is a daughter of 5 years old. And you wish to get their custody, am I correct?
Yes, it is correct.
All right.
The main dispute arises here concerning the right of custody over the children. In this context, I think we should divide the issue into four legal questions which relate to your child individually. First, the issue is pertaining to the custody of your eldest son, Lego. However, in my opinion, despite that Lego has exceeded the statutory age limit of 18 years old, but the court still has the power to make the order for his custody until the completion of his higher education in Australia. I think that since it is the will of Lego to stay with his father, then it will not be an arguable legal issue to give the right of custody of Lego to you.
As to the custody of Buddy and Fowry, I think the welfare of the children is always the paramount consideration of the court to determine the custody of children who age below 18 and above 7. So according to section 88 subsection 2 of the Law Reform Act. So on this point, I have gone through your salary slip and you are financially capable in supporting your children daily life and have also been maintaining a good mothers and children relationship and healthy communication with Buddy and Faris since their tender age. Also, both Buddy and Faris feels more comfortable to stay with you rather than staying with their father and Susan. Therefore, it's the best interest of welfare for the children to stay with you. Now you have a good ground to satisfy the court that the Buddy's and Faris custody should be given to you. In other words, you have a strong case against Mr. Lewis.
And the last one, I think that you will have a higher chance for getting over the right of custody over your youngest daughter, summary, as it is the general rule that it is for the good of a child below the age of 7 years to be with her mother. Besides, the court will also tend to avoid making any decision or judgment which will be disturbing the life of a child by chain of custody, since somebody has been wholly taken care of and living together with you when your husband settled when your ex-husband settled down in Singapore in 2017, then it may be inconsistent with the general rule in disturbing the right of summary by change of custody from you to your husband.
After listening to your explanations, I feel more confident in my case and I leave my custody problems to this book.
Alright, this is our first advice to you, Ms. Lei. I hope we have explained to you clearly about the resolutions for your case in our advice. We have extracted material facts that we need from you in this session. From your narrative, we are highly confident that you can get your four children's custody with your permission. We may take care of your case and again. I would like to tell you that we strongly believe that you can have your children's custody and soon your biggest worries will be gone.
Thank you so much for your comforting words.
So, Miss Claire, after this, you may have a further consideration on whether you would like to commence the action in court. So, do inform us when you have decided to do so. And we are well prepared to help you. Hope to see you soon.
Thank you.
Miss Claire, please remain for a while. So, Miss Claire, I need to remind you regarding the engagement letter that I've explained before. So, Miss Claire, we need your help to send back the letter to us after you sign it by post. We're very sorry that everything needs to be done by way of online during this pandemic.
Thank you for the reminder, Ms. Moraine. After this session, I will post you the letter, and once I have posted it, I will inform you either by email or I'll just give you a call.
Okay. Thank you so much for your understanding, Miss Claire. If you have anything to ask, you can just contact me and the lawyers. So with that, you may leave this meeting room. Have a nice day ahead, Miss Claire. Thank you.
Thank you, Noreen. Have a nice day too. Goodbye. Take care.
Sorry, I'm a little bit late. Previously, I was coming back from the court. So, I had instructed both of you to attend the client consultation with Miss Claire regarding her problem on the custody issue with her four children. So, may I know what are the brief issue on this matter?
All right. The brief fact is that the client divorced in 2020 because her husband had an affair with another woman. Now she has a first child, Lego, age 19, second child, Buddy, age 16, third child, Fowlery, age 14, and the last child, Summary, age 5.
From our client point of view, she insists on getting full custody of her four children. From my own experience handling this case of divorced parents fight for custody of their children, Ms. Claire should and has the right of such full custody.
Yes, I agree with Mr. Ngao.
I see. From what both of you just explained to me, I assume and we need to ensure that Miss Claire getting her sole and full custody over the four children. So if we based on the case of Siva Jyoti against Kunatasan Chelia in 2000, so the paramount consideration is regarding with the question of custody, care and control of the children. So since our client have two children who are still schooling and one youngest daughter who are still in the kindergarten, so they will be going through a lot of physical and mental stress while growing up. So I think it is the best for the mother to attend the problems related to the menstruations or emotional changes as compared if they are being put with the father.
Yes, indeed. The mother's love and affection towards their children cannot be replaced. If the custody was given to Miss Claire's ex-husband, he might naturally entrust the care of the children to another person since he is busy with his work now.
Yes, indeed, it is the nature of mother would take good care of her children and based on the fact given by Ms. Claire, she would definitely perform a good role of a mother to her children.
But I noticed that our client have the eldest son named Lego, who is currently in 19 years old and studying in Australia. So from the legal perspective, did the custodian principle fall within the capacity of Lego?
Well, according to LRA, the Law Reform Act, yes, the court can still make an order as to the custody of Lego because he was still pursuing tertiary education in Australia, and the reference can be made to the case of Wong Chong Kyu versus Lee Hong Seng.
As far as it's concerned, it is a right and freedom given to Lego whether he wants to live with our clients or with the father. So may I know whether Lego is spending more time with the mother or with the father?
Yes, Miss Amira, we did ask her, and Miss Claire mentioned that Lego has always been with her and always contacting her despite him studying abroad. Technically, Lego is more comfortable with the client. Since it is the view of Lego to stay with his mother, then it will not be an arguable legal issue to give the right of custody of Lego to Miss Claire.
As I mentioned earlier, both of the teenagers who are still schooling need to be with our client, Miss Claire, as they are still in a phase of growing up and need a lot of attentions. So, from the fact of this case, I assume and I see that the living patterns of the father is different as he already moved to Singapore in expanding his business in 2017. Therefore, if the children being put with the father, they might not get the love and affection they needed.
Yes. Miss Claire also mentioned that her ex-husband had an affair with another woman while living in Singapore. So I think we should fight for the sole and full custody to our client no matter what.
Yes, Mr. Koh, I think we should make a good legal opinion regarding on the best solution for our client to have a full custody. But I'm curious about the youngest daughter summary. What about her?
I have made some research on this issue whereby our client shall have full custody over somebody as the daughter is only 5 years old. As referred to Section 88, Subsection 3 of the Law Reform Act, it's good for the kid to be with the mother by taking into consideration sudden change of custody. In our opinion, it will cause difficulty to somebody's life on changing the custody since she is at all times staying together with the client of Miss Claire.
I see. That's a good reasoning from both of you, Mr. Koh and Mr. Ngao. So definitely, I think we have the upper hand in making sure our clients, Miss Claire, gets her sole and full custody over her four children. So I think both of you could proceed with the further research on the relevant materials and come up with a good legal opinion writing then.
Sure thing, Miss Mira.
Before I forgot, we need to issue a letter of demand in informing Mr. Lewis, the ex-husband, that our client is fighting for the custody of the children. And also, please make sure all the necessary details are included in the letter of demand, okay?
Sure, anything, we'll let you know. Thank you.
So I think that's all for our meeting. If anything, just inform me. So thank you for the discussion today.